Now ITF will have 52 members, but you are under OECD umbrella. And now there is a very big global crisis. So how do you manage to handle the crisis? And what are the challenges that ITF will take?
Well, ITF deals with transport, so we look at the crisis from the point of view of transport. And our first observation is that transport has been very badly hit in the crisis. The economy is down 3 or 4% maybe globally. Trade is down 7 or 8%, 10% maybe. But transport is down in many markets, 20%, even 30 or 40%. So especially the freight transport sector has been very badly hit. So we are working to try and see what we can do about that.
And this happened when Turkey was handling the presidency of ITF. So how Turkey reacted? Because, you know, it has a very strategic position.
Yes. But we should say first that the two are not linked. The collapse in transport has nothing to do with Turkey, of course. Turkey has an incredibly strategic position for transport, and the downturn in transport is important for Turkey's economy. But we have talked a lot with Turkey about how Turkey can develop its strategic role in the future. And we have done studies on that recently, and we have worked with your authorities to try and see how Turkey can develop, for example, a good multimodal policy to try and reduce the dependence on truck traffic and on road traffic, because it will be better in the longer term for Turkey if we have a multimodal system and can use lots of modes.
And how Turkey can just develop a better condition for transportation?
Well, you know, everybody takes transport for granted, but to make transport better, it's a long-term job. It requires a lot of planning, a lot of money, a lot of political will over a long period of time. And I think Turkey is conscious of that, and Turkey has been investing in the transport system now for some years. And it takes time, and I think that's what's happening. It will take time, but Turkey is now investing heavily in transport under the Bosphorus, the train system from Ankara to Istanbul, the development of the ports, privatization of them, the acceleration of work on the railways. All of these will bear fruit, but it takes time.
And now, as we said, there is a global crisis. We know that you take it as a challenge. ITF takes it as a challenge. So, what are the real cues for the strategy?
It's a very important issue, I think, because, you know, at a time of crisis, maybe everybody gets too depressed. So what we must try and do is grab the opportunities that are there. I think we need to do some rethinking about transport, rethinking about our strategy towards the environment. Obviously, this is a very important issue for the future. We have to rethink our strategy about supply chains, how they work. We see them being damaged now by the crisis, so we need to rethink them. We need to rethink our financing strategy. Transport needs money to develop, to maintain itself, and to meet these sustainability criteria. So we need new strategies in financing as well. And I think these are major challenges that we hope we are discussing in depth here, and that some ideas will come out of this conference.
And this is a very big organization because civil society is here, industry is here, also science is here, everybody is here, and also politicians are here. So this is a very good platform for just rethinking. And
absolutely. And I think it's one of the aims of this forum is to bring together everybody. Transport involves everybody. And in the past, we just had ministers together. But, you know, we learned that ministers by themselves couldn't actually change everything. You need the people behind them. You need the research to be good. You need industry to be involved. And so that's why we involve everybody now at an early stage and have a very strong dialogue between all the main actors. And I think that can make a difference. You won't see it tomorrow, but it will happen over time, we hope. But we have very top people here from politics and from industry and from research.
And American transportation minister will be here for the first time. So, and again, a global crisis, America, Asia, and all these routes. Now, what is the position of Asia? And well, there is a thinking of reviving Silk Road, maybe. And what do you think? Will there be a link?
Well, it's a very broad question. We are very pleased that we are getting, for the first time, the United States Secretary of Transportation to travel abroad. So we will be very interested to hear the US view on globalization and transport and how the US could play some kind of leadership role in development of global transport policy. But we're also very pleased that we have Chinese minister here, and we have India here, and we will have a lot of the countries in between. And so we will have a lot of discussions, I think, on the development of a global strategy. You also mentioned the Silk Road. I mean, that is one of many possible routes. You can see other examples around here of new global routes opening up. We're giving a prize to somebody who is talking about opening up some of the Arctic routes. So I think even in this bad time, and even with climate change, we may see new opportunities as well. And we will be talking about developing these routes. The Silk Route is obviously a strong possibility for the future. What we see, though, is that there are still too many bureaucratic obstacles. Crossing a border takes far too long. There's a truck down there in the exhibition that you can see. It has travelled across parts of these long-distance routes, but what we see is that it is stopped for longer than it's moving because of bureaucratic obstacles, because of border problems. And so we have a lot of things we need to do to improve these routes.
And Turkey has some problems while transporting to Europe. So do you think Turkey can handle all these problems now?
Turkey has problems, of course. Most countries have problems. I think Turkey has to do a number of things. One of the things we just spoke about already was this multimodal strategy. Turkey needs to have a development that is not too dependent on road transport. There's a lot of problems with road transport at the moment, so we need to make sure that Turkey can develop its trade by sea, by air, and by other methods, so that you can multiply the sources of transport for you. For the road transport there are problems, and we hope we might make some progress in that. The road market system in Europe is still too restrictive. Countries still limit trucks, even the high quality trucks that the Turkish operators have bought many of, and I think we need to keep working, and I think the Minister will do that when he is here, to try and increase access to Western European markets for trucking, because it's a very important issue.
And last question, because of the global crisis again, do you think that global climate change issues will be just put on a shelf for a while, or do you think you'll just try to make some solutions?
You know, I think some people would like to put them on a shelf, and some people would like to say, let's forget about that now because we have a crisis. But you know, we have a big conference on climate change at the end of the year, and there's a great deal of work going on climate change, and transport too must take its responsibility here. And we today have a session on international transport and environment. We still have the recommendations and papers we wrote last year, which are still very relevant. So we want to be very active in climate change. Transport has a responsibility and must live up to it.
And what responsibilities do you have?
Well, I think transport has to move away from its dependence on oil. Transport is 99% dependent on oil for moving. So it's a strategic responsibility to start with, because we are too vulnerable to oil. So we need a new technological revolution to move away from oil, and we have to get that moving. So that's a key thing. We also can be, even when we use oil, we can be much more efficient in the way we use it. And we have given examples where cars can be 30 or 40% more efficient, planes can be more efficient, ships can be more efficient. And we have to do all of those things, and we must be dynamic about it. Okay? Thank you.